Pontiac built some of the most exciting concept cars in General Motors history, and General Motors Corporate shut down nearly every single one of them. Between 1964 and 2009, Pontiac designed sports cars that outperformed the Corvette, predicted the crossover SUV trend 20 years early, and created a modern El Camino that was weeks from reaching dealerships. None of them made it. Led by executives like John DeLorean and Pete Estes, Pontiac's wide-track design philosophy was systematically blocked by General Motors' rigid brand hierarchy. These are 10 rare cars Pontiac built that General Motors refused to sell. Number 10. The 1987 Pontiac Pursuit. In 1987, Pontiac unveiled a concept car packed with technology that would not become standard for another 30 years. The Pontiac Pursuit had electronic four-wheel steering, a steer-by-wire system, and a fully digital dashboard displaying GPS navigation maps on screens instead of analog gauges. In 1987, GPS navigation did not exist in consumer cars. The Pursuit was powered by a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder engine producing 200 horsepower, and Pontiac's engineers at their Warren, Michigan Design Center had built a car that anticipated Tesla's interior design by 30 years. General Motors decided the technology was too expensive for production. The car toured auto shows and disappeared into the GM Heritage Center. Every feature the Pursuit introduced eventually became standard equipment on modern cars, and none of them carried a Pontiac badge. Number 9. The 1989 Pontiac Stinger. A year before the Ford Explorer created the SUV craze, Pontiac built a vehicle that predicted the crossover trend 2 decades early. The Stinger had a 3-liter V6 with 170 horsepower, all-wheel drive, carbon fiber body panels, and removable glass roof sections that transformed it from an enclosed vehicle into an open-air machine. General Motors design chief Chuck Jordan oversaw the project. The Stinger's seats were made from wetsuit material. The cargo area included an integrated tool kit, a portable vacuum, and picnic benches that folded out from the rear. It was designed for buyers under 35 who wanted a vehicle for both commuting and weekend adventures. That is the exact description of the modern crossover market, which now accounts for more than half of all new vehicle sales in America. General Motors decided the Stinger was too niche. 2 decades later, vehicles matching its exact description, like the Jeep Wrangler, Ford Bronco Sport, and Subaru Crosstrek, became the fastest-growing segment in the American auto market. Number 8. The 1997 Pontiac Rageous. Under the hood sat a 5.7-liter LT1 V8, producing 315 horsepower and 335 pound-feet of torque, connected to a 5-speed manual and rear-wheel drive, 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds. The Rageous could perform like a sports car while offering a drop-down tailgate that opened to 49 cubic feet of cargo space, rear-hinged suicide doors, and a heads-up display. Interior designer Tim Grieg called it a whole new world of functionality for a high-performance sports car. General Motors did not build it. 3 years later, Pontiac released the Aztek instead, a vehicle so visually offensive it regularly tops lists of the ugliest cars ever manufactured. The Aztek attempted the same concept, combining utility with style, but where the Rageous had muscle car proportions and a V8, the Aztek had the aerodynamics of a refrigerator and a V6 borrowed from a minivan. Pontiac sold 27,793 Azteks in its best year. The Rageous was the car General Motors should have built. They chose the wrong one. Number 7. The Pontiac Fiero. The Fiero that reached showrooms in 1984 was not the car Pontiac designed. General Motors forced development onto a strict $300 million budget that made Pontiac engineers bolt together parts from other vehicles. The front suspension came from the Chevrolet Corvette. The rear suspension was recycled from the X-Car Citation. The only engine at launch was the Iron Duke, a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder producing 92 horsepower. 0 to 60 took 11.3 seconds. A Pontiac engineer wrote an urgent memo dated October 6, 1983, before the car went on sale, warning the engine bay design could cause fires. General Motors ignored it. By 1987, engine fires in 1984 models were occurring at 20 per month, 1 fire for every 508 cars sold. General Motors issued the recall on the evening before Thanksgiving in 1987, apparently hoping to bury the news. Pontiac sold 136,840 Fieros in 1984, possibly the highest single-year total for any 2-seat sports car in American history. By 1988, sales collapsed to 26,401. Here is where the Fiero becomes a tragedy. Pontiac engineers spent $30 million on a completely redesigned suspension for the 1988 model. They added a V6 with 140 horsepower. By 1988, the Fiero GT was the car Pontiac always intended to build. General Motors canceled it in March of 1988, the exact year it got good. A next-generation 1989 Fiero prototype existed with an overhead cam V6 and new bodywork. Most of those prototypes were demolished in a scrapyard in Australia. General Motors built a mid-engine sports car, refused to fund it properly, let it catch fire, then axed it the moment Pontiac fixed every problem General Motors' own cost-cutting had created. Number 6. The 1964 Pontiac Banshee, codenamed XP-833. In August 1963, John DeLorean and Pete Estes authorized a project that would haunt General Motors for 45 years. The Banshee was a two-seat fiberglass sports car designed by Jack Humbert on a 90-inch wheelbase. Two prototypes were built, a silver coupe with an inline 6 and a white convertible with a 326 cubic inch V8. The Banshee weighed 2,200 pounds, roughly 500 pounds lighter than the Chevrolet Corvette, and would have sold for about $1,000 less. DeLorean and Estes had built a car that was faster, lighter, and cheaper than the Corvette. That was the problem. When General Motors chairman James Roach saw the Banshee in February 1965, he canceled it immediately to protect Corvette sales. A memo dated September 10, 1965 directed General Motors design chief Bill Mitchell to rework the Banshee's distinctive side fender curves and rear spoiler as a Chevrolet design. The car General Motors refused to let Pontiac sell was redesigned into the 1968 C3 Corvette, borrowing the Banshee's exact side profile and rear deck proportions. Pontiac's own concept was used against it. The surviving silver coupe sold at Barrett-Jackson in 2006 for $214,500 and was listed for $1.2 million by 2024. Number 5. The 1966 Pontiac Banshee II, codenamed XP-798. 2 years later, Pontiac tried again. The Banshee II was a four-seat Grand Tourer with a 421 cubic inch tri-power V8 and four-wheel independent suspension. DeLorean renamed it Banshee after the fighter plane and fought to display it at the 1966 New York Auto Show. A press release was written and ready to distribute. At the last minute, General Motors chairman James Roach pulled it from the show. The project was canceled and the prototype was crushed. The less sophisticated Firebird, based on the Chevrolet Camaro platform, went into production instead. The Firebird became a success and spawned the Trans Am Performance variant, but it was always a modified Camaro wearing a Pontiac badge. The Banshee II was supposed to be something built from the ground up as a Pontiac, embodying the wide-track philosophy that made the brand distinctive. Number 4. The 1988 Pontiac Banshee 4. 24 years after General Motors blocked the first Banshee, Pontiac was still trying. The Banshee 4 featured a twin turbocharged 3.8-liter V6 engine, active suspension, a heads-up display, and lightweight composite body panels. By 1988, the argument that Pontiac would cannibalize Corvette sales was difficult to justify, since the Corvette sat in a completely different price bracket. The Banshee 4 could have competed with the Nissan 300ZX and the Toyota Supra as an affordable sports car. General Motors said no for the fourth consecutive time spanning a quarter century. 4 Banshees built, 4 rejections. DeLorean had left General Motors in 1973, partly out of frustration with this kind of obstruction. He later wrote that General Motors' brand hierarchy strangled innovation. The Banshee saga proved him right. Number 3. The 1999 Pontiac GTO concept. Pontiac designed a rear-wheel drive V8-powered coupe to revive the GTO nameplate that started the muscle car era in 1964. Public response at auto shows was overwhelmingly positive. The original 1964 GTO had sold 32,450 units when Pontiac expected 5,000. The GTO name still carried enormous weight. General Motors did not build Pontiac's concept. Instead, General Motors rebadged the Australian Holden Monaro as the 2004 Pontiac GTO. The Holden was mechanically excellent, with an LS1 engine, V8 power, and rear-wheel drive, but it looked anonymous. Car journalists described it as resembling a rental car. From 2004 to 2006, the GTO sold approximately 40,808 units across 3 model years. Pontiac's concept was rejected because importing the Holden was cheaper. General Motors saved money in the short term and wasted the most famous nameplate in Pontiac history. Number 2. The 2002 Pontiac Solstice. When Pontiac showed the Solstice concept at the 2002 Detroit Auto Show, over 10,000 people signed interest lists on the spot. The Solstice was a small, affordable, rear-wheel drive roadster, exactly the car John DeLorean had been fighting to build since 1963. General Motors approved production, making it a rare Pontiac success story, but with a 4-year delay. The concept was shown in 2002, and production did not begin until 2006. During the early 2000s, General Motors executive Bob Lutz had championed Pontiac's revival as a performance brand. But by the time the Solstice reached customers, General Motors was sliding toward collapse. The 2008 financial crisis hit. General Motors filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy on June 1, 2009, and Pontiac was discontinued on April 27, 2009. The Solstice was discontinued after 4 model years with approximately 75,000 units sold. The Solstice proved what DeLorean had argued since the 1960s. There was a market for a Pontiac sports car. General Motors spent 40 years denying it, 4 years building it, then scrapped the brand. Number 1. The 2010 Pontiac G8 ST sport truck. The Pontiac G8 GT, built on General Motors' Global Zeta platform, carried a 6-liter V8 producing 361 horsepower, with a 0 to 60 time of 5.2 seconds. By July 2009, almost 30,700 G8 sedans had been sold. At the 2008 New York Auto Show, Pontiac revealed a production-ready coupe utility based on the Australian Holden Ute. The G8 ST had a V8 engine, rear-wheel drive, a 42.7 cubic feet cargo bed, a 1,000-pound payload capacity, and a 3,500-pound towing limit, 0 to 60 in 5.4 seconds. The G8 ST was a modern El Camino, the first vehicle of its kind in America since Chevrolet discontinued the original El Camino in 1987. This was not a concept, it was a production model announced for the 2010 model year. Importing was already underway. In January 2009, General Motors told dealers the G8 ST was canceled due to budget cuts. 3 months later, Pontiac was discontinued. On June 1, 2009, General Motors filed for bankruptcy. The segment the G8 ST would have filled, a performance car-based truck, still does not exist in the American market. The El Camino-style vehicle Pontiac was weeks from delivering to dealerships was lost when General Motors sacrificed the brand to secure its federal bailout. Pontiac existed for 84 years. The brand peaked at 896,921 vehicles sold in 1968 when John DeLorean was fighting General Motors to let Pontiac build the cars it wanted. By 2009, sales had collapsed to roughly 90,000, a decline of 90%. The last Pontiac, a white G6 sedan, rolled off the line at the Orion Township, Michigan plant in January 2010. The Banshee was faster than the Corvette. The Fiero was ahead of the C8 Corvette by 35 years. The Rageous was the car the Aztec should have been. The G8 ST was weeks from production. General Motors did not lack engineering talent at Pontiac. What General Motors lacked was the willingness to let Pontiac maintain its wide-track identity and be Pontiac.